Hey guys, Rushy, how you all doing? If you made it this far, you must be sick of my voice by now. We're on V-trigger quick rise now. V-trigger quick rise. V-trigger, this is where things get really messy because Ken's meaty frame data completely changes now. So set bison to normal recovery. We're going to go for the same format. So like it Tatsu first, 2 hits, dash 6 frames. No delay. Ah, fuck. Oh, actually, there's corrections here, sorry. So the other day I went over my chart and I corrected a few things. So this one is actually wrong. Dash 9 frame. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. Good job I remembered. So, if I do that again. Dash 9 frame, sorry, that's right. Dash 9 frame, like your Tatsu, 2 hits. And if you want the overhead, with light kick, back medium kick. Oh my god. Okay, it's not guaranteed. Okay, yeah, the same as the non-V-trigger version. Dash, thunder kick is that one. So that's light kick Tatsu for 2 hits, medium kick Tatsu 2 hits, V skill 4 frame. That's that one. If they quick rise and you want the overhead, it's just thunder kick. There you go, guaranteed. 2 guaranteed setups. Medium kick Tatsu for 3 hits. Dash 5 frame. This is very hard to do. Medium kick Tatsu's got a weird recovery on it. It's like your feet are stuck. So, show you. I'm dashing now. Look how, even though it hits the ground, it takes him a long time to sort of recover. I don't recommend doing the dash 5 frame here. It's very tricky to time, but it does work. You see there. Overhead setup, it says on my chart, with light kick, back medium kick. Yeah, that works. I wouldn't recommend doing that though. If you get the medium kick Tatsu and you want Oki setup, and you're V-trigger, go for the Oki Koki, the 50-50 mix up. I wouldn't recommend setting up the dash 5 frame. Dash 5 frame, you leave this, well, dash anything as a meter, you leave yourself open to so much error. That's 3 inputs, and you make sure your meter timing's right. Dash isn't my preferred method, but you've got to use it if you want guaranteed setups. That's why, going back to what I said before, that's why I prefer to do time by eye. Where I can do a dash 4 frame, I've got more than enough time to do a V skill, and then when the opponent gets off the ground, time it by eye. But yeah, so be cautious of all the setups. Be cautious of the medium kick Tatsu 3 frame more so because of the strange recovery. It just sort of freezes. It's weird. I don't know why they've done that after recovery. Like if you look at this, pretty much as soon as it hits the ground, you can dash. There's this. That weird delay. You may not know what I'm talking about, but yeah, if you try it in the lab, you'll see what I mean. So that was medium kick Tatsu, 3 hits. Heavy kick Tatsu. It's the chain setup. That one. That one really crap at. That's the quick rise. To be fair, you know, I've messed up here. You know the last video, the heavy kick Tatsu setup for back rise. You're supposed to do the same thing. You're supposed to do the I think I said in my previous video, you know, I'll put a note in that video, we won't confuse things, don't worry about it. So anytime you do heavy kick Tatsu, can't do it, man. That's the rule of thumb. Dash, go for that. That's it. I think it's quick rise, back rise, V-trigger, non-V-trigger, always do that. Forget what I said. Forget about dash 4 frame. But it is dash 4 frame, but it's dash 4 frame cover all setup. if they quick rise and you want an overhead, this only works for juggle, not for a grounded one. Just back medium kick. If you hit it grounded, Ken can do this in V trigger. Don't do that. Grounded heavy kick Tatsu, it doesn't work. I think the same with line breaker as well. Oh, it does work there for line breaker. So just if they're grounded and you're in V trigger and they quick rise, don't do back medium kick. EX Tatsu. This is where it gets a little tricky. B skill 9 frame. See it whiffs there. It's because that is the setup, but it's better used in the corner. And that works. Unfortunately, because of the EX Tatsu, it throws them really far out. If you want a overhead, it says walk thunder kick. Let's try that. So a little more than a slight walk. It's like in between, like slight to moderate. Not a guaranteed overhead. Alright, so Dragon Punches, EX and non-EX, it's different now for grounded and juggle, unfortunately, in V-Trigger. This is why it's very difficult to get the right OQ when you're in V-Trigger. So grounded, heavy punch DP, V-Trigger, dash 4 frame. If they're in a juggle state, dash 6 frame. Different setups there, guys. And if I do like this Tatsu, dash 6 frame. Don't do 4 frame if they're in a juggle state, it's not going to work. See? So don't do that. For grounded heavy punch DP, so it says walk. To be fair, for both of them, it's walk thunder kick. Yeah, I think there's quite a significant walk here. You can tell because of the range you're at. To do that. Heavy punch DP, if you look at the difference, you're quite close there, but in V trigger, throws them out pretty far. Look at that, there's quite a lot of ground to cover there. So yeah, the overhead, I wouldn't recommend the overhead after that knockdown mid-screen. I would recommend it in the corner. Corner's where it's best. Juggle and grounded. It's quite a significant walk there. So that's that. Same for the juggle. Well, that was a juggle. So grounded. It's probably less of a walk for grounded because they're not as high in the air. EXDP. Oh, that's good. So for EXDP, actually, it's a V skill 4 frame for juggle and for. Is that right? Yeah, for juggle and grounded. So V skill 4 frame for that, and it's always the same overhead as well. That's great. So V trigger, EXDP, grounded and juggle. It's thunder kick, and there's no delay, which is good. Oops. Yeah, guaranteed. That's what I mean about if you use EXDP and they quick rise, it's a really good OQ setup because it gives you a guaranteed overhead. Only if they back rise it screws things up. So that's great actually. EXDP very underutilized I think in V trigger. Yeah, the EX Tatsu does more damage as a finisher. Compare them. That's 170. That's one. It's only 10 point more, but you get much better OQ with the EXDP. So maybe that's something for Ken players to consider. Maybe not always go for the EX Tatsu. EX Tatsu is good if you want the corner carry, but then if you're in V trigger, the ground you got to make up. You got to chase them down. And you haven't got a guaranteed setup then. Anti-air medium punch DP is dash 6 frame. Again, these aren't guaranteed, remember. Depends on what height they're at. And EXDP is oh no, sorry, it's V skill 6 frame. That's different now. That was quite low to the ground. V skill 6 frame. Try and get a really low one. Yeah, so that's those two. No overhead setup for those, like we said previously, just because there's so many variables. And the last one, last but not least, is, okay, this is an interesting one. V trigger specific. So where you get EX Fireball, EX Tatsu in the corner, it's V skill 9 frame. So if you were to get, I'm trying to think of another situation, if you were to get no, that's not what I want. V skill 9 frame, and the overhead, it says, I've got here moderate walk, thunder kick. Yeah, so significant. Say significant. It's more than a micro walk anyway. Thunder kick. So that's it, guys. The just to explain, the sweep will be the same. Obviously, the sweep is the same V trigger, non V trigger. That's why I haven't covered it. And grab as well. Of course, grab is just a dash forward 4 frame / 5 frame. It doesn't change in V trigger. Most of these are different because the finishers change in V trigger. Your Tatsus, your DPs, your fireball into Tatsu, the frame data changes because the move changes. So yeah, sweeps and throws are the same. Cool. Oh, I should mention actually, I haven't covered step kick. Step kick is weird. It depends on where you hit step kick. So if you hit step kick, hit it like that, with just the toes, you hit it deep, which you should never do anyway. I think dash dash is the setup. Yeah, look, it's weird. That's another one to judge by eye. Probably better V-skilling after it and just judging it by eye. So yeah, I haven't covered that in any videos, so that's something I should have mentioned in the introduction. But I'll put notes in the description to cover everything, so don't worry. So there's no step kick at all. There's no guaranteed step kick hokey because it depends. There's too many variables. It depends on how it lands. You're better off judging it by eye. So cool, guys. That's V trigger. Quick rise. We're nearly there. We've nearly done it. One more video to go. Cool. Catch you in that video. Take care.